unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Jermell Charlo responds to Terence Crawford, says, "Don't run now, yeah, Lions only." He says that you got JARON Boots Ennis on your tail, you got ERROL Spence on your tail, and if you call Al, you can make a fight and, you know, get the logistics done for a Jermell Charlo fight. Wow. So this is a clapback from Jermell Charlo. He spoke to Brian Custer, Showtime Boxing, and Showtime Sports. Roll the clip.
So how can I be piggybacking off of him and his brother's name when I've accomplished way more in the sport of boxing? If that don't make any sense at all, I don't know what does. I would love to get him in the ring and shut him up. I will F him up. The only thing he's going to do is cry afterwards. All he does is run around, yell, angry, and be mad at himself. End quote.
Just whatever, guy. You get your paperwork right. Talk to Mr. Heyman. We'll get a fight going. And you're damn right, it'll be easier. Let's get a big fight going, matter of fact. And I'll show you better than I can tell you. Ain't nothing easy in the ring with me, so I don't, just, you know, I'm grown. These kids, they just talk and just, he ain't fought nobody for real, you know, like, he just got out of the top rank contract because Bob didn't want his ass no more, so he just got rid of him. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, hey, why you don't make the fight with the man that's in front of you? Errol been calling you out. Get him, get in the ring, man. You know, we don't know who these last guys are. He's signing deals with BKL, BLK, and he's just doing business wrong. He's sloppy with his business. So I don't know what he want to do, but I'm down to fight. I'm down to fight. I don't got time to go back and forth with him. Yeah. You're a little boy. You come from 140. You're not even strong enough to even handle my shit that I'm throwing at you. And I'm not none of these guys he fought before. So it's like I'm undisputed for a reason.
So that was a snippet of Jermell Charlo responding to Brian Custer, reading verbatim, I guess, what Terence Crawford said when he interviewed Terence Crawford. And according to the transcripts, Crawford believes that Jermell Charlo hasn't done what he's done in how could he be clout chasing? That's basically what he was saying. And this was stemming from some social media comments that Jermell made. Now, my thoughts, you know, I'm gonna keep it kind of simple. I really liked Jermell Charlo's response. I thought he said some good things, some noteworthy things that you guys should pay attention to. We unpack. He said, you come from 140 pounds. I think this was significant. You come from 140-pound division. He fights at 154. He says, I'm undisputed for a reason. I'm none of these little dudes that you've been, like, you know, beating up and fought in the ring. And at first glance, some people would say the same thing with Charlo. They'll say, hey, but wait, Charlo has never fought anyone as dynamic as Terence Crawford. But in my opinion, I don't think we can actually say that because we haven't seen Terence Crawford at 154. So Crawford has definitely been a problem at every division that he has fought, namely at 35 and 40, but even at 147, which is division below Jermell Charlo, we really haven't seen the best of Crawford, and that's just because he hasn't fought the best, you know? So you can't say you've seen the best of someone if they haven't competed with the best. What do I mean? I mean, right now in the division, like in the last year or so, the top guys, Crawford hasn't fought any of them, you know, from Keith Thurman to Ugas to ERROL Spence to JARON Ennis to Virgil Ortiz to Conor Benn, you know, if you want to include him before the egg scandal. He literally hasn't fought any of those guys. So that means no one on his resume really stacks well and compares to the aforementioned names that I just said. So it doesn't really work two ways. Jermell Charlo, you could say he's fought some dynamic people at 154, from Erickson Lubin, who's a great talented fighter. We've seen like even sparring clips of him in Berlanga. Erickson Lubin was undefeated when Charlo faced him. You've seen great talents like Brian Castano. He's about to fight Tim Tszyu, you know, so Charlo really is battle tested. He's faced every possible style from Austin Trout to John Jackson. You know, I was at that fight particularly. Castano twice, which, you know, I give him a lot of credit because I think Castano is extremely difficult. He's just like an awkward dude. You know, he'll be losing rounds and he'll do these little last minute flurries and try to impress the judges and steal rounds. You've seen 2 Tony Harrisons, and I understand that Costa knocked him out a few rounds before, but I don't really get into all the triangle theory stuff unless we're going to take into consideration the before, during, and after. So what do I mean is Costa got the version that Jermell Charlo had arguably beat twice. I know the first fight they said he lost, but some people thought Jermell Charlo won. It wasn't like it was a runaway for Tony Harrison. And in the second fight, he uppercutted him to death and knocked him out. So Costa got the version of him a couple fights after the Charlo knockout. So you could say Charlo tenderized Tony Harrison. You know, who knows? Some guys, they get these certain stoppages, you know, and he had been stopped before by Hurd and Willie Nelson and things like that. But I think at the age he was at, I think the Charlo rivalry might have been his last stand and his last hurrah. You know, that's just kind of a personal opinion, because the version that showed up of Tony Harrison versus Costa, I mean, the amount he talked and stuff, he looked like he couldn't pull the trigger. I'm not taking anything away from Tim Tszyu. He did what he had to do. I gave him his props in that post-fight video, but I truly think that Tony Harrison looked extremely flat. You know, he didn't have the same spark that he had in both of the Charlo fights. So you can't really discredit the run that Jermell has had for Undisputed. In fact, if anybody, because I know how this game goes, the Bud Buddies are going to get mad because I'm spitting facts, but answer this question, hand over heart. Who had a tougher run to Undisputed? Crawford has been undisputed, yes. Jermell Charlo has been undisputed, and he currently is undisputed. If you look at who Crawford had to fight at 140 to become undisputed, right? And you look at Jermell Charlo's path to undisputed at 54, it's literally no comparison. I mean, even after becoming undisputed, again, he's about to fight Tim Tszyu, and he would have fought him in January, but for the first time in his career, he had a hand injury and an injury that forced him to withdraw. But it looks like they're going to fight later in this year when his hand is, you know, given the okay to actually return to the sport and defend his titles. And I fully expect him to beat Tim Tszyu, FYI, spoiler alert. You know what I'm saying? So even after becoming undisputed, we have Jermell Charlo, who's still taking not a guided path, but a very difficult path. Now, it would be great for Terence Crawford if he does get the Errol Spence fight, because that's for undisputed. And if he does fight Errol Spence next and is for all the belts, then that'll be a super valid undisputed, you know? And again, I'm not taking away from the 140. He was undisputed there too, but I'm just being real. The 140 doesn't compare to 147 and 54 because there are more stacked divisions at those given times. And although I don't think Crawford has fought the greatest of names at welterweight, just fighting Errol alone, if he can beat him, since that's such a huge rivalry, then I'll give that a lot of credit. And that's really just off of one person versus Jermell Charlo. He had to go after killer to killer in his division, knocking them all off one by one, you know, and he became the last man standing. He was probably going to fight J-Rock, but J-Rock got knocked out from Jason Rosario, a bigger guy. He knocked out Jason Rosario when he looked extremely dangerous versus J-Rock. You see the Tony Harrison fights, the Hatley fights, the Austin Trout fights, the John Jackson fight where he became a champion. You got the fight, he about to fight Tim Tszyu. He had 2 with Brian Castano, who, again, I think is a very difficult style. You can't take nothing away from that man. So it's not like he just had these, you know, one fight. Even Jorge Cota, like if you look at it, a lot of the guys that Charlo had already beat, they're feeding to an up-and-comer like Sebastian Fundora. Charlo was supposed to fight Tony Harrison in Vegas. I was there. And then Harrison got injured, so they put him in with Jorge Cota, a ranked top 15 guy, right? And he knocked him out brutally. I was at the fight. Later on, Sebastian Fundora had a shootout with Jorge Cota and knocked him out. Same thing with Erickson Lubin. Charlo went in there and knocked out Erickson Lubin in 1 round. Literally, he just walked up to him and blasted him, and that was it. Sebastian Fundora had a fight of the year contender, and he's like 6'7", and they had a fight of the year shootout where they dropped each other and hurt each other when they fought. So, you know, you got to give a lot of props to Jermell Charlo. He's not wolfing. He is what he says he is. About the, you know, the Crawford response, you know, I'm not even, and I think Jermell Charlo is only taking it but so serious. I can't speak for Jermell, but I'm just saying from my perspective, because he keeps telling you, he's like, man, you got people in your way like JARON, ENNIS, and ERROL Spence keep calling you out. Why you keep barking up this tree? This ain't what you want. He's saying, I'm not the 140-pound guys. So I think Charlo is down for the get down, and he's down to fight Crawford, but you know, in Charlo's mind, it sounds, based on, you know, a mashup of his different interviews, it sounds like he truly believes that Crawford has other rightful obstacles that he probably should try to conquer before he messes with him in a new division. Ultimately, I think it's going to be very telling whoever Terence Crawford decides to fight. You know, I'm not going to speculate. If he fights ERROL, great. The fans want the fight. If it's Alexis Rocha, I'll make the video about Alexis Rocha or whoever. He, like, to me, I feel like Crawford, there's no telling which way he's gonna go, but I'm just basing off of the career he's had so far. That was Jermell Charlo's response to Terence Crawford. He says Terence Crawford ain't really beat nobody, and he ain't nothing like the 140-pound guys. And he's saying you coming up from 140 pounds, coming up 14 pounds over the span of your career, then that's not really what you want. You're not going to be able to take these shots the same way. You know, it's just a different level. That's basically what it sounds like Charlo was saying. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'm the best in the business. Subscribe, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.